Hello, History Display.
Hello.
I'm Jack with Channel 10, just making a little video of Shafer Days. What have you got here today?
Well, we've got history on Shafer. We've got the Jacob Peterson mercantile that was just right back behind the city hall. We have books from the post office from the 40s. What else do we have? Oh, we have a book on Shafer Swamp to Village, the history of Shafer.
Well, give me a little idea now. So, what is this here?
These are plates that you could purchase at the Jacob Peterson mercantile.
Back in the 20s or?
Back in, yeah, the 20s, well, the 1900s, turn of the century.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. These are some other things that you could purchase from the mercantile. This is from the post office. People who had, let's see, if I've got this. Oh, 1920, people who had their
Wow.
their post office box.
Yeah.
The Franconia House was moved to Shafer around the year 1906. For a time, the Franconia House was operated by Mrs. Israelson as a board and room house. It was very popular with the trainmen and traveling salesmen. She always offered a bed and a warm meal at a nickel a day. Later, when the house was purchased by Walter and Esther Vitalis, they found it to be much too large for them. So in 1922, they sawed the house in half. The north end of the house was moved to the east of their property. Later, it was boarded up and then sold as another house to Tom Oglin. In the year 1914, Frank Loring from Center City built this garage using lumber from the Franconia School. Later, John Lawrence sold gas engines and fixed boards out of the very same garage.
But didn't
The
you ever
creamery,
have it before
founded
your
in
dad did it?
1895, was originally called Shafer Cooperative Creamery.
Hello, Sally Barrett. What's happening today?
How are you today? Thanks for coming to Shafer Days. And we started this 2003. It was first called Shafer Heritage Doggin. And so I was chairman of the festival, and we had it started. We did the bank robbery reenactment. That's still going. And right now we've got the City Hall in Shafer here ready to share with you all the old photos, the old Santa suit, things that when I was a kid and growing up here in Shafer and seeing the artifacts and seeing and chatting with the people that are, you know.
Tell me about the mercantile.
Oh, the mercantile. Jacob Peterson was the original owner, founder of it. And he came from Sweden. He was a young boy when they came. He was about 11 years old. 1853, they arrive. His dad dies at sea, though, tragically. So he arrives with his mother, and he's a young man that takes on an entrepreneurial spirit. And he just grows and grows. He starts trading with the Indians by the time he's 18, the Ojibwe tribe, and learns that way to live like an entrepreneur. And then the businesses grew, where he started the cordwood business, and he helped bring the train through Shafer, and also the potato crop. So you can see lots of history right here about Jacob Peterson. This section, he ran the mercantile, the big yellow building right over here to our north. And some of the items there I have attained from friends and my grandmother that used to shop there.
Now, did you grow up in Shafer?
Yes, not just north of here, 2 miles. Here, I'll show you a picture of my house.
Okay.
This is
Yeah. Cool.
built by Swedish immigrants, Lars and Ingrid Thorsander, and they came from Östertorsos, Sweden. And they come right here in 1869 and buy this land north of here, farm, and have a family. And it's currently country bed and breakfast.
Well, it's good to promote it, yeah.
And my parents, my mother grew up there. So it's only been owned by the two families, the Thorsanders from 1869 to 1938, and then 1938 to present. I'm current owner.
Okay. Now, how are you involved with the history societies and things? Or-
I've been with the Taylor's Falls Historical Society for years. Shafer was once part of Taylor's Falls. Back in 1853, this was land that was owned by Taylor's Falls. And on their docket, they were not happy with the swampy land that this was, and they said, how about if you take it off the tax roll and let's call it something? And they said, okay, let's do that, and what should we call it? So it was named after a transient man that would cut hay in the fields here. His name was Jacob Shafer. And there was a part called Shafer Meadows first, sometimes called this. And the hay was for the government and for the horses and things like that back 1853.
Now, when the railroad came in, Shafer had to stop, didn't it?
Yeah. Lindstrom, it went from Wyoming to Taylor's Falls, bypassed Franconia. Franconia was supposed to be on there, but something changed it around and Shafer became a stop, which I believe Jacob Peterson had some connections in doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, were there potatoes raised around here too?
Potatoes was the biggest crop, huge crop. And from North Branch to this area, a big potato hub. And all those potatoes would join the train over in Wyoming, and that would go north-south on the tracks to Minneapolis or Duluth. And then they had the next biggest crop, well, the cordwood industry came in. Okay, so the cordwood is another big area where it would have been the timber when they were farming the lands off or getting the woods ready to be cut down for farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what does Shafer have today does it have any industry?
It has one of the largest construction companies, Shafer Contracting.
Oh,
Yeah, just to the south here.
okay.
It's formed here by the Matson family and still in the same Matson family. So that's, very, very good. Where I think we have that history as well as, let's see, one of the, Jeff Behnke right over there. He's been here since I was a young kid too. And
Did he grow up around here?
Jeff, yes, I did.
Well, Jeff, step over here a second.
Here. And he's a few years younger than me, but we were at the school together and he had a Shafer school.
Shafer had its own school?
Yes, it did. To the north of here again.
And you went there?
Yep.
Yeah.
I went there for kindergarten, first and second grade.
Yeah, and I was first and second. And they had a policy, if you were first graders, you couldn't go in the woods. When you were second grader, you could go in the woods.
Well, that is a relief to know that.
And, visiting Santa at the old hall, the Shafer Hall, is a dear memory, I think, for all of us Shafer kids.
Yeah.
And the Easter egg hunt, the fire department put that on, and so did Santa magically appeared as maybe one of the firemen.
Now, who was this guy that awarded the Fire Hero Awards? Who are you?
I am Dan Vogel, the current mayor of Shafer.
I see. Okay. How long have you been mayor, Dan?
Be 2 years
2 years.
in January, yeah.
The mayor has to wear a really fancy outfit. What, you didn't put it on today? The one with the brocade coat?
I am not wearing a t-shirt. This is fancy.
All right.
You notice I wore a tie the other night.
Yes.
Presented the awards.
You did, yeah.
Did you see the hallway here too of the old pictures?
No.
Train?
Shall we take a look at it?
This is wonderful. Come on, Jeff, you can be with you. And the old creamery, we can start here, Main Street, Shafer.
The original Jacob Peterson store can still be seen as a small peak.
We're trying to figure out whose cow this was.
Oh, look at
Street
this.
scene, and this would be looking to the north. This would be the, I want to say, there's the Behnke building, isn't it? That one.
Yep.
Is that your relatives?
No, I don't,
Well, Dick and Roy started the hardware store.
I think he bought it
He
back.
bought it from somebody,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you come to the old bank, which is still there. And it goes north to town. This would have been Rosebud's Cafe, as I knew as a girl. And then the creamery. And we had a wonderful skating rink between these two buildings.
Ah,
Fun, always fun.
sure.
And then if you
Okay.
turn around here, this is the old feed mill. if you had cows, pigs, chickens, whatever, you'd come to Shafer. And the Selman family would put this together and put it on your truck and off you go. But they think some arson happened there and
No, it was.
It was arson for sure.
I was at that fire. I
Yeah.
was on the fire department at the time.
Yeah.
And so here's some more Shafer feed mill pictures. So we're fortunate to have a lot of good historians, I feel, in the families that have been here for a long time. And then the train.
Now, a feed mill would have what kind of grains in it?
Oh, well, they would have been the Purina brand, as you see.
Yeah.
And we came, like a chicken feed would
Well,
be.
I used to work for them.
Okay, ask Jeff this one then. What kind of feeds?
Yeah.
The Shafer State Bank.
We developed for horses, cattle, steers, swine, chickens, all your traditional livestock we produced there. It was mainly corn, oats, soybeans. Alfalfa would be sometimes mixed in upon the customer's request for.
So you're taking grains from the local farmers or whatever and
Yep.
processing it into something that cattle can eat?
Yep, cattle, pigs, chickens.
I mean,
horses.
you can't just dehusk them and give them the stuff. You have to actually process it, or?
Oh, yeah.
You could, but-
You could, but we would add additional nutrients for them.
And then we'd buy calf milk. We had milk cows. And the creamery took our milk, but there would be this extra supplement that the calves would get. And you'd mix that in the little pail, and it has the nozzle with a udder on it, and the calf would just suck right from the pail.
Okay. So a little vitamin
A vitamin-
augmentation, yes. Yeah. So here we are, 2016 in Shafer. How many residents would you say Shafer proper has?
The city, as of the 2010 census, was 1,045.
Okay. And then there are people, is there like a township around it then, or?
There's, 2 townships.
Because I'm in town, I'm in one of the townships north of here,
And it's called?
Shafer Township.
What a clever name.
And then south of is Franconia Township.
I see. Okay.
So thus the Shafer Franconia Fire and Rescue
Yep.
is 2 fire departments.
So no, it's one.
It's one, but-
It's a township and the city running it jointly.
Right, got it.
Yeah.
Now, did you want to see the train too? This is kind of fun.
Okay.
And more cityscape here. This,
Now let me just get this here, early years of Shafer, although I am getting a reflection, but
yeah. And it's always fun figuring what angle, what side of town they're looking at.
yeah,
You wish people would write on their pictures.
that's true. And that's the old depot, probably.
Yep.
That's an etching of
An
it.
etching. And this is the depot, a picture of it, that other north view. And same here, this would be now the depot and some of the mills that were part of like the sawmills of the cordwood industry. And the train going through and some people waiting there at the depot. 1880 it came through Shafer.
I believe the tracks were pulled out in the 50s.
And it was called Engine 328, the last ride on June 30th, 1948. My mother remembers riding it the last time. That was a very, everybody did it in Shafer. They got on the train and rode it to and from.
Well, Sally, what have you done for a living?
Oh, I do many things. Started off as girl here in Shafer. Grew up here. After high school, I went off to the Twin Cities and got my education in graphic design and marketing and advertising.
At the U of M?
Started off at North Hennepin Community College.
Okay.
And then just finished off at Metro U. I did a little bit at MCAD. And then worked for companies, Honeywell, Alliant Tech Systems, different
Doing
things.
design and
Marketing,
marketing,
believe
okay.
it or not. Some of this kind of is an odd twist.
Right.
But then in 1999, my father passes away here, And my mom asked if I'd move back to the area to become more of a Shaferite again.
I see.
And help her with Country Bed and Breakfast, which they started in 1982.
So the big city girl comes back to help.
Yeah, and
Right.
now I'm the proprietor.
Okay.
They've passed on, so. If you want to see the best place to have a wedding dance, I'll show you here.
Okay.
This building is no longer here, but it's an homage.
Shafer Cooperative Creamery.
Back in 2003, we tried to save the old hall. This is the hall before the hall you're in now. Okay?
Oh, okay.
My mother built this replica, and it was a fundraising idea where we said, drop your dollars down the chimney to help save the old hall. But I tell you, there was wedding dances here with Lee's Polka Boys, and my sister's wedding dance in 1981. I think we bent the floorboards. We were dancing so hard, and it was so much fun.
Those old halls really have
Yeah,
a charm,
we
don't
had
they?
the best wedding dance ever, I swear.
Yeah.
And the Santa suit, I don't know if you caught that. This is,
What's the story on that?
well, that's original from when I was a little girl. And like I say, different Santa guys would play, mainly the fire department guys, and they would play Santa for us. And you'd kind of guess who was who by, once in a while you could see through things, you know, and you'd go, well, that's got to be my cousin Steve this year.
And now, when I see this Swamp to Village book by Vivian Myers, was she local here too?
She was a woman that lived here in Shafer, and she decided to write the whole history. She was a teacher and just a wonderful historian. I hope to write part 2 of it.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. And